Is this thing on? Oh my god. Look at this. This is crazy. This is truly not my life, guys. If you knew how much of my life I spent working to the bone for almost nothing as an English language teacher, you'd understand how amazing this moment is right now. Anyway, I'm taking a break from a lie in the grass, chatting about life with my husband to chat with you some more about language guilt, because that's where my brain goes. So I guess I should introduce the channel, since we keep picking up new people despite the fact that I've stopped doing a lot of videos lately. Hey, hi, meow. This is Stephanie, and this is Changing Scripts podcast and YouTube channel. The podcast is where, see how close I can get to the water without actually falling in. Let's see how this works. Anyway, the podcast is where I talk to people about their experiences learning, at this point, Mandarin Chinese and soon other languages. And the YouTube channel is where I talk about my own experiences learning language. I'm about to say learning languages, but honestly, so far it's been Mandarin Chinese, right? As you can tell, there's a shift. Check out this yellow building right there. That's pretty cool. Anyway, there's a shift in my language brain lately, and I might be playing with other languages soon if our geographic trajectory changes. There's so much going on. I was trying to find a quiet spot, and a place is beautiful, you just can't. So I'm going to walk for a tiny bit more and see what I can do. Let's see. Oh, okay, that seemed to have worked. Alright, so I'm in Lake Como in Italy on vacation. I want you to have, there we go, the picture of the lake, not the picture of me so much, because that is beautiful. Okay, so now that you know where I am, you know what I'm doing. Yeah, I was learning Mandarin Chinese for about a year and a half. A year I spent really heavily on the HSKs. I went through HSK 1, 2, and 3 and passed all 3 of them, although the third one was a barely pass, whereas 1 and 2 were super easy in comparison. But I would never say that HSK 1 and 2 were easy, because the shift over to the Hansa characters is very hard. But what I want to focus on now, when I'm back in Italy, and I say back because I'm gonna keep walking. I've never gotten used to watching people watch me film. Anyway, when I say back, because I was in Italy as a child when I was 4 and 12, because my parents are from Italy. They're not from up here in Lake Como or near the Swiss border or any of that stuff. They're from the deep south. It's not called that in Italy, I don't think, but they are from the poor south. It is definitely called that. And yeah, so my parents are both from southern Italy, and they moved to New York and met in beauty school, and had 3 kids. I'm the last one they had. I see a bench. No, I kept walking by the bench. All right, that's fine. We'll keep going. Anyway, so I grew up not remembering speaking Italian at all, but the narrative goes, and I think I've said this before, that I spoke Italian until I went to kindergarten and decided that I wanted to only speak English. So I came home saying, no, only English. I'm guessing because the kids at school thought I was retarded because I didn't speak any English, or very little, or bad English. Gratuitous lake shot. So that's what happened. So I check out that sky. Dear God. Fast forward a gazillion years, none of my siblings or I learned Italian, and I tried to take Italian in high school. In university, and that didn't go well. And yeah, so I basically know. Now that we're back in Italy on vacation, I can tell you I can recognize words and phrases in my passive language memory, but I can't really produce anything. I can't even say I am anything. I know a few words. So why is this coming back to me now? Why do I care now? Why is this of language importance now? Because I'm having moments of memories of language, I would say language shame, language teasing, let's say, because it's so long ago now that the weight of it, and especially since I actually like Italy this time around, I don't have the weight of thinking that I'm Italian and I should fit in, which I had the first 1, 2, 3 times, especially the last time I was here as an adult. I don't have that this time. I honestly feel like I am an outsider in Italy, which is a relief. It's absolutely a relief, and I want to seriously thank my husband for helping me feel like an outsider. That makes no sense to anyone, but it's nice to come into Italy not feeling like I should understand, I should fit in, I should speak, I should do, all of those shoulds. It didn't really come with me this time. I came here on vacation because we wanted to come back to Europe. We wanted a place that had nice weather, good food, affordable, to be in for a couple of weeks, that kind of thing. And Italy fit the bill. And my husband's a huge history person, so and I love walking and cafes, and so it just was like check. Guess what? We're going to Italy. And so I had zero expectations. I know I didn't want to do a heritage trip. I didn't want to go down to where my parents were from. I didn't want to try to look up relatives that I haven't talked to since I was like 12. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to be here as a tourist, as an American tourist who lives in China, because that makes sense to me. But even so, I'm having language memories. Okay, so language memory number 1. It took me 6 minutes to get here, but I'm here. And I do apologize. I have a killer sore throat right now. So I might sound a little weird, but I wanted to get this when it was still fresh in my brain. And I hope you can hear me over the waves. I don't know if you can see the waves. This place is so beautiful. Maybe I should walk around somewhere. Anyway. Right. So, language memory number 1 is, so my grandfather, last time I was here when I was 12, he, I'll go over to this side. He was not well. He was sick. He was basically on his deathbed. And at 12 years old, you don't really know what that means. You just think, I just thought, how beautiful is this? I just thought, he's apparently very ill, very tired, that kind of thing. And I understood the sadness around me, but I didn't quite, you don't get it. But anyway, so I was 12. And some of my cousins spoke a little bit of Italian, and some of them had a very detached, kind of playful relationship with the language, and so they would try words and phrases and not feel any sort of weirdness, or they wouldn't care about the mockery of the accent that they were trying, or those kinds of things, because people would tease them when they tried to use the language, and it really bugged me, and it didn't bug them, and I was so jealous of them, because every time I tried to use a word, every now and then when I get up the courage, and I tried to use a word, the mockery would crush my soul, and I would just be like, that's not nice. I don't like that. It doesn't work for me. That's not how, I don't need you to cheerlead me. I just need you to not mock me. Even then. So I remember we were outside, like our bedroom, where like me, my sister, and my mom were sleeping. We're like right outside my grandfather's room. And I was going in to say goodnight. And of course I knew what goodnight meant. Like, buonanotte, I think is how it said. And even now when I say it, I feel really self-conscious. But every time I'd say it, no matter how I'd say it, they'd mock me relentlessly. And by they, I mean, yes, everyone. And we had multiple generations, multiple people, multiple families visiting at the same time. And so there were a lot of people around, and as soon as I would say the phrase, like, good night in Italian, they would just relentlessly laugh at me. And who knows, maybe they thought it was cute, but it didn't come across as that. And I just really took this on, massively took this on. And so I keep having moments like that when I'm here this time. Like, I feel like I'm watching somebody else. Oh my God, I love doors. Look at this thing. That is so cool. Anyway, I feel like I have these memories, and I feel like I'm watching somebody else's life, because I still feel stupid saying things in other languages because I know how awful they sound, but I no longer care, and definitely trying to speak Asian languages. I think it was mostly in Vietnam when it hit me. I'm just going to say it in so many different ways until you understand what I'm saying. And that's when I finally did, because I was like, Vietnamese, I have no language background with Vietnamese at all. There's no attachment anywhere at any point in this language, so there's nothing for me to lose. Look at that blue sky. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's when I just started to just speak, just say stuff when I want to. And I don't do it so much in Mandarin because I don't like the sound of Mandarin. I like the look of Mandarin. I'm drawn to the script, but we've already discussed this. So yeah, so there's different reasons for different things. But the main thing is I keep having these memories of this little child when she was 4 or 12 years old. And yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person, of how much dislike she had for being mocked and laughed at and teased when she would try to use a language she should have grown up knowing, because her parents were speaking it fluently around her. And I'm still sticking to the third person thing because I don't understand this girl. I don't understand this life. I don't understand how the joy that's inside of me was so crushed by a few laughs. It makes me sad for this girl. It really does. And it makes me sad for all of the time lost that I couldn't play with languages, that I clearly like learning about languages, and all of the time I could have been not necessarily learning them, but learning about them. So I guess there's a little bit of grievance in there that I hadn't anticipated when I pressed the record button. But mostly, there's like a cinematic looking back when these moments hit me. There's certain looks to certain buildings and the insides and stairways and things that remind me of moments from my childhood when we came to Italy and in New York sometimes, when I remembered certain language moments like that one that I described. And and there's certain like place settings, I kid you not, there's certain place settings that we saw in the store yesterday that we had. There's certain breads and certain flavors, and there was a vegetable that I couldn't identify, but I'd eaten so much as a child, especially when we came to Italy. And all of these things invoke the language that goes with them and the embarrassment of trying to say the words. And even I don't know. Like, it's funny because the Spanish version, the Spanish words that come into my brain first, like when somebody does something really nice, which is happening a lot this week, and I want to say thank you, the first thing that comes to my brain is gracias, which I'm sure I'm still not saying right, but it is. But I know that grazie, depending, there's so many different ways I've heard it said. That's what's said here. That's what's said here. But that's not the first thing that comes to my brain. And when I say it in Italian, I feel embarrassed. When I say it in Spanish, I'm just trying to communicate. And when I accidentally, and somebody asks me a yes or no question, and I say do, I don't feel anything. I just feel like I've conveyed yes. And then I realize that they probably don't speak Chinese. And the fact that they've asked me in Italian, I've answered in Chinese, doesn't at all register in my brain as being multilingual, because I know so little in the number of languages I know so little in. So it's just, there's so much going on in my brain this week, and none of it's really bad. It's, like I said, it's a little bit of a grieving period for the time lost, not playing with languages, not learning about languages. But mostly it's just looking back at that little girl and being like, was it the environment? Was it me? Back to me. Was it me? Was it the environment? Was the mockery that bad? Or was I just, as a friend of mine used to say, oh my God, look at that sky. Wow, that's not what they used to say. When my friend used to say, a sensitive plant. Was I just a very sensitive plant? I'm guessing it's probably a combination deal, because that's how life is. But it's amazing. It's amazing how much comes back to you with the sensory experience of being in a place. And I don't know. Do you have any language moments that come back to you? Any specific phrases or moments when people either encouraged or mocked you about language that you'd like to share with us? If so, please leave it down below in the comment section. I'd like to know I'm not alone on this. Because it's just, it's just weird to have these memories. But it's also really nice to be here and to enjoy this without the heaviness of thinking I should understand or they should recognize me and I should be Italian. Because I'm not. I didn't really grow up like this at all. I grew up like that. I grew up in some sort of third space that my parents created. Okay, this bird is bouncing against this. What the hell is he doing? Okay, you've got to watch this. Oh, he went away. The bird was bouncing against the car. I think he was flying into himself. Gosh. That sounds like an analogy that I'm trying to make, but actually that literally just happened with that car right there. That's really funny. I just realized I shouldn't be embarrassed by doing this because we've seen a lot of people FaceTiming other people as they're walking around the cities and stuff here. So I should just pretend like I'm FaceTiming somebody and then I wouldn't be embarrassed that I'm filming. But honestly, look at this. Just look how beautiful this place is. It's just crazy. Anyway, so that's my language flashback. There we go. And the ability to finally freaking detach and just use stuff I'm hearing without the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment. And when people laugh at me now, so what? Who freaking cares? Did I get my cannoli? Check. Did I get my coffee? Check. Am I going to cross the street without killing myself? Not sure. But the point is, you don't have to have language guilt, right? You don't have to have language shame. And more importantly, maybe sort of a little bit, stop freaking laughing at people when they try to use a language. Maybe that's the takeaway of all of this. If we all just stop laughing at people who try to use a language, then it might be easier. And if we all just ignore the people who do still do it, it might be easier. I don't know. Mostly it's just a memory flashback, a language flashback, and an excuse to show you this again. Because, dear God, Italy is many things, and beautiful is definitely one of them. And I don't have to own that as something that's in my heritage, and I don't have to not own it as something that's not. It just is. It's just a fact. That's all, Jan.